What's up, everybody? It's Stephen Williams, founder and president of the CreditRepairShop.com. I hope everyone is safe and happy. It's been very busy. Making this video here today probably won't be as long as some of my other ones, but I want to make sure that I did talk to everyone and let them know that I was doing well, and hopefully all of you are doing well. And I want all of you working on your credit and raising your scores. I want to talk about in this video we're going to talk about one of my clients where he just texted me. We did a test just to see how high we could get his scores. He was in the middle sixes, 650, 640s, and we did a test over the last couple of months, and he is reporting that his score is 812. Look at that. He texted that to me. I don't know if we'll be able to get that. See if I can get that bigger there. Can we get that? I don't know if we can. There we go. If I turn it, you see that? I turn right there, 812. That's his score, is 812. He got an 812. He texted that to me yesterday, all happy. After I answer a couple of these questions here, I'm going to tell you how we were able to do that. So let's jump right into it real quick. Had a conversation with a gentleman. He was a YouTube subscriber, ran across my video about settling debt and also court summons. He got summons to court for a business line of credit that he owes, and we were kind of going back and forth on what he should do. And I always ask these questions. Number one, because it was a business line of credit, did you personally sign for it? The answer was yes, if you personally signed for it. And then he said, yeah. Also, they had summoned him to court for the business. They went to his business location, place of business. He said that was very embarrassing and that they kept going there. And then they also summoned him on a personal level by sending it to his home. And he had asked me, number one, I get this question a lot, like if I don't answer the summons, what happens? Well, if you don't, it doesn't matter if you don't answer, they can still proceed because all they have to do is show proof of a third party attempting to service you. The laws have been changed where everybody talking about they didn't get summons and I never signed for it. They never properly served me, all of this stuff. I'm telling you, they've changed the laws and they allow them to show proof of summons. And then if you don't show up to court, you're just jumping, making it worse for yourself. So what I told him to do is, number one, if the original creditor still owns the debt, which from what he had told me, they do still own the debt. That means that the debt collection attorney that's coming after him, they're not, you can't validate to them on what your relationship is with them because they are disclosing that they're hired by the original creditor. So it's just like having a department, coming after you for the money with the same company. They can either use an internal or an external company to do that, but they still own the debt. So in that situation, what I advise them to do is to respond to the court summons. You always do that regardless. Even though it's two summons, one for the business, one for him, you just could use the same answers to respond. You just change a few things when for each. One is for the business, one is for him personally. But when it gets down to the amount that you owe, regardless if it's a original creditor or a debt collector that purchased the debt, you still have a right to dispute the amounts that they claim you owe. An original creditor must maintain all of the information, payments, balances, original contract, any credit insurance, or anything that they had when you originated the loan or line of credit. They must disclose interest rates on every bill. You have a right to review all of that to make sure that everything that you paid and that it reconciles. This is in a way just buying time for you when you're dealing with an original creditor. But you want to do that. And then from experience, what I've seen happen when you do that, when you request all of that information, because the court is going to require them to do it if you ask for it. Because you're not running from it, you're not claiming that it's not yours. What you're doing is you're just doing your legal right to request all of the information that they claim on the statement that you owe. You get that information, and what it does from experience is that it puts you into a situation where this debt can be settled, because the companies, they do not, that they know when you're doing stuff like that, that anything could pop up that can either throw this out with a technicality or anything. What they're used to people doing is just running and saying the debt is not mine, and running and not showing up to court. That's what they're used to. But when someone shows up to court and they say, well, this debt, this was my account, but these amounts that they're saying, I don't agree with it. I would like to get all of this information forwarded to me for my review, so we can get to some type of resolution. I've seen, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't happen all the time, but I've seen when you do things like that sometimes they could either withdraw the whole court case and do a debt cancellation, or it just sets you up to where they'll approach you and say, okay, we understand you ran into a financial situation. What can we do to resolve this debt? And it could be a lot lower than you expected. Actually, the example that I'm using with the trade line, this was a client who on my website, if you go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, and you look on the testimonials page and you see where a debt cancellation for over $30,000, this individual. We did exactly what I'm just said to do for this client, or for this YouTube viewer. Exactly what I telling him to do is what we did for this client. And the credit card company reversed everything out of court and did a debt cancellation for all the money. It was over $30,000 on a credit card. Client paid zero. No settlement had to be made. They sent the 1099-C debt cancellation to the IRS, and this client, because he's a business owner, was able to write off the debt from all of his other expenses and didn't pay anything on that. And we recently, and I posted on my website, we got 2 more for him. So that's how you would handle that for any debt situation where the original creditor still has it and they've either hired or they have their legal department suing you. This would be the process. I don't care what other people are telling you on YouTube. We really work with people. We don't just sell information like these other companies. So what I'm telling you is the real deal. And if it wasn't the real deal, why are all of these people having garnishments and losing cases in court? It's not all about it. Well, it's partly because they don't know their rights, but it's also because these companies do have legal standing to get that money from people. And if you don't know your rights, what your rights are helping you with is to, number one, validate if it's a debt collection company that purchased it, or validate the amount that they're claiming you owe from original creditor. Also, and I might have answered this a second ago, but about not signing for court summons when all they have to do is show proof that they tried to serve you. That's all they have to show. They don't have to have you sign it. There's a lot of stuff going around online about proof of service. Proof of service is going to get you a way of buying time, but it's not going to stop it. So you can say I didn't have proof of service, so you can have more time and get everything back reopened, but proof of service is not going to make a debt go away. Proof of service is not going to make a debt go away. Yes, there are technicalities and things that could come up, but proof of service will allow you to get reopened. Especially, you're going to have to show a reason why they were not able to serve you. They posted public notices. Uh, they have to post a public notice in a newspaper in your area. They have to send someone to your home, and if that is your address and they left something saying that they tried to serve you, or you just refuse to sign it, that's all they have to do is attempt the service. So let's not sit in that bucket, because that's just a setup for people. And let me write down the time here, because now let's go into the how we got my client's credit score from the 650s on one report, and we're about to do it for the other two, to 812. And I just showed you on my phone 812. You've seen it online where they talk about authorized user trade lines, but what I've seen problems with people is that they're using trade lines of individuals that are not, let's just say they're just trying to make extra money, but they don't really handle their money uh, as good as they would need to be able to get you that type of trade line boost. But basically, what a trade line, authorized user trade line is where you, in a way, are piggybacking on someone else's use of a credit card. They put you on as an authorized user, but you don't get the card. Nobody's crazy, but I have heard of people getting the card and they paid the bill. Uh, I don't know about that, but you get placed on there, and then that person's history will map over to your trade line. Now, there are some accounts that don't report to all three. And with this one here, it does report to all three, but there was three issues on the other two reports that we just got resolved. And what he had actually texted me also on there was that the two charge-offs that were also public records that we got removed, the two charge-offs, both of them were also taken off of his reports. So he was like, it says in the remarks, like it was removed from the account, remark. And I was like, remark doesn't mean they put the mark on there. What it meant is this is the outcome. Remark is an definition, can mean the outcome. And I was like, that means it's removed from your account. And so we got those last two off of the other two. That's why it was already off of the other one. That's why that one shot up, and now it's off of the other two. And next month those will shoot up. But what we did is we put him on with one of our accounts that I specifically use to do this for clients. And it's a very strong trade line. I have two very strong trade lines that I do this with. We just used one, and it jumped him up with that because he had other credit, like his mortgage and stuff that he had been paying on, and some other stuff. But so he had already had, things building. Most people in the 650s, they'll probably get into the 700s or the middle 700s or 720s when we do this for them, if they don't have other strong credit on there. But so you get placed as an authorized user on an account. You don't get the card, and as long as that individual is using that card properly, along with the history that they've already had on there, and it needs to be 2 years of history, it will jump your score up. It will bump it up. And from what I've seen, within a few months, that individual is able to go and get their own card and start reestablishing credit. And so this is what we did for this client. And, I'm happy for him. He's a business owner. He's a restaurant owner, has 8 locations. When he started with us more than 7 years ago, we've been working on his credit. He was tore up, working on stuff for 7 years, like with settlements and different things, and working with this stuff that I just showed you. But we're talking, most people don't have this amount of debt. We're talking over 200 and some $1,000 in just in credit card debt that we had to get resolved. Um, but he, over those years, while working on it and getting things resolved, he's went from one restaurant to eight restaurants. For the average individual, would be a lot easier. Most of you don't have a whole bunch of debt like that. You might just have some medical or some credit cards or stuff that you didn't pay on. That stuff can get resolved. Get a trade line booster placed on there. Scores go up. 2 months later, apply for your own card. You're off and running. You're off and running. Enjoying life again. So I have a link below here if you're interested in getting a trade line. They are limited. We only can do a limited amount of people per month. But if the link is there, that means that we still have available lines, so you can get placed on there with I had the pricing on there. So it really does work. It really does work. It can boost the scores. So if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. If you need to get your credit score so you know where you're at, because remember, everything starts there. Go to the number 3scores.com to get your credit scores and your reports. And please subscribe. Please like this video. I really appreciate it. Please ask your questions. I'm going to be doing a lot. Well, I'm doing a lot more of that. Not going to do. I'm doing that. Answering questions on the videos for people. And that also helps other people that have the same questions get those answered a lot quicker. Please please subscribe to the channel. Please share. Tell other people about it. I really appreciate it. This is Stephen Williams, founder and president of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you.